Fall Guys, and I've gotten hundreds of wins on. So I actually just logged into the new season yesterday, since I've been playing other games. And I got 10 million items. If I try to click on every item, it would take me an hour to get through every item. Like, I don't know what they gave me, but they gave me too much stuff. I wanna play training. I'm gonna play competitive. Standard. But how completing my story from last stream, technically. I'm going to be getting my cousin. He wants to get an Xbox Series X after he gets a PS5. I'm like, why? There's no point. PS5 is already technically, they say on paper, Xbox Series X is better, but they say that the new Samsung drive has just outdated it has just become like the faster than the SSD in the PS5, but technically, the way that the data transmits in the PS5 is actually faster in the PS5. So people think that PCs are just better, but a 3070 isn't better than the graphics card that they're putting inside the PS5, and they're saying that. I don't know what type of graphics card they're putting in the PS5. Either it's a 6900 XT, 6900X, a 6800 XT, a 600X. Whatever it is, it's gonna be better than 3070 at least. Because the 3070 is meant for 120 frames, 4K 60, and 80. The 80 is meant for 4K 120, and 3090 is meant for 8K 60. So the PS5 is actually 3080 graphics card around there. If they ever came out with the PS5 Pro, then be on par with the 3090 for sure. It'd probably be like 8K at ray tracing default, but next, the 40 series, I'm actually kind of scared for, because how well they're doing with the 30 series. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty good on the 40 series. The 50 series, I think that's when they're gonna start introducing 16K. 40, I think they're gonna start doing 8Ks a lot more casual. Like 4Ks, like even though it's 4K they say is new, they're kind of like 4K's out of building, and 1080p is like sold to your old grandma, but and 8K is casual, and then next generation will be 16K, which is non-casual, and it's kind of like for the 3090 where it's made for 8K, it's kind of like the highest priced one is made for, can handle 16K, and that's when they're gonna start introducing 16K TVs, 8K 120 frames per second TVs, and that's what and then the 40 series will be able to handle, the 50 series will be able to handle 8K. I mean, 40 series, I'm getting myself confused. So 40 series, I was expecting to see 8K be more casual. 50 is where we start seeing 16K is to be non occasional, so the 50 series could also do 8K at 120 frames a second, and 16K at 60 frames per second, and then the 60 series would make it more casual, 16K a little bit more casual, and then the 70 series locks the deal. No more better resolution spikes than that, pretty much. And I'm seeing far into the future. Like this might be wrong. It might be like 8K's casual in the 60 series, but that's when 8K starts becoming casual. But I think by then 16K will be a lot more casual. It will seal the deal on casualness. How can 32K, if there ever was actually a thing, then that will come far in the future. You know how hard 8K is even? Imagine 16K, like that's not even possible yet. Imagine 32K. Like, if we don't even have that yet, that would take like 20, 30 years to perfect. Maybe even 40. 30 if we're lucky, 40 if we're kind of slow on getting any better. Maybe 30, maybe 16 is like our pinnacle. If there was a 60, there's no way that there would be 64. 64 I think is impossible. That's why I think when you start drawing the line. Is that 32. 32 is when you start drawing the line. 64 is, that doesn't sound right. But after that, we're gonna get 128. Oh, that was a close ball. We're gonna get 128, and then 256, and then it's gonna keep on growing and growing, and it's gonna be too much for us to chew anymore. We're just gonna have screens the size of cities to play 258 6K. I'll see you when 256K comes out, when we're barely leaving 4K generation. People still are rocking 1080. 1080 is kind of like the FPS gamer. Like they're like using 1080s, 1080 GTX, 1080s, 2080s Ti's to play. Literally, when you can play 4K at 120 frames per second on like a 3070, I'm a 3080 for cheap. They're trying to buy GTX 1080 or 2080 Ti's to play that. But the 2080 Ti is kind of like, it's a decent discovery, but the 30 series now is kind of like, we're leaving 2080 series. I mean 20 series, and now we're getting into 30 series. And then soon enough, we're gonna get 40, then 50, then 60, and then 70, then 80, then 90, and then 100. And 100 is gonna be what, like 32K? What are they gonna do at 100 series? Just like 10,000? See, yeah, 10,000. Like 10,000 series. Actually, series. No. What? I'm assuming when they get to 100, it's just be like X. It's gonna be crazy powerful. 8K is amazing. 8K is amazing, but 16K, I've seen like how they've gone the mosaic way, where they have multiple screens. And that's insane to have that just the one unified screen. Okay, I'm back. I'll see you in 1,000 series. A million series. What are you gonna do for a million series if that ever comes out? Cry? And have a good like the screen would be so big that it'd cover the world with one graphics card. The size of like that's like Walmart. The graphics card the size of Walmart. With the Quantum CPU. I'm excited to see what the 50 series is gonna look like with a Quantum Core, a qubit CPU that has multiple process like that comes from AMD or something. Because guess what? NVIDIA doesn't make CPUs, they make GPUs. And NVIDIA also makes software for your download. For like NVIDIA broadcast or something, whatever it's called. But Ryzen has the good CPUs. That's where the CPUs are good. Intel is more for work processing. More for working. Like the Threadripper is more for editing than it is for gaming. Then the like you know the ones that just have the numbers on them, that's more for gaming. But the Core i9 and the Threadripper are made for editing, for like hardcore editing, for like special YouTubers who are like famous. Made the special editors, so they use Threadrippers and stuff like that, and Core i9s. But for gamers, for hardcore gamers, you use the Ryzen series. Not the special Threadripper, but the Ryzen series with the numbers. In the video, I don't think they'll ever dip their toes into CPUs because they're not showing any signs that they will. Not even a little bit. CPUs generally aren't that important to me, honestly. Like, I feel like a GPU could run a computer. It just, for some reason, they just have to have a CPU. I feel like with the cores inside of the graphics card, you could probably process enough for a computer, honestly. You know, the graphical processing units, they could technically store. They're not made for storing data, like, that's not for graphics, but they technically could store data that was not graphics. It's not It has a power too. It's just not really made to. CPUs will become extremely important when we get quantum CPUs, like available to the public, like quantum computers. Like those actually have CPUs in them, and they're technically quantum like CPUs. And they actually have multiple states of the binary code at a time, so they could be either a 1 or a 0 at the same time. So you get ultra fast, infinite, and technically it's considered infinitely fast data. Pick it up. It shouldn't. Infinite. It's infinitely fast. The GPUs are the most important for gaming, though. Honestly, the GPUs are what are what we're required for ray tracing, the resolution, frame rate. That frame rate has a small part to do with the CPU, because that requires power. So literally, the whole gaming experience is coming from the GPU. The CPU is just like more for the non-gaming stuff, for like what you have to do to get to the games, or what the games have to load and stuff like that. It's not technically you could play stuff on games just on the GPU itself. You don't need the CPU. The GPU can run CPU things for gaming. If you're only gaming, you can do that. For editing, on the other hand, why would you have a GPU only? That wouldn't make sense, because that would take hours for your videos to render. Days. When 6K videos on the iMac take 2 hours, and you could on GPU it would take days. Okay, guys, I'm gonna end this stream. I had fun, and I'll see you another time. Goodbye.